On September 27, 2019, NASA's Pegasus barge delivered a full-scale mock-up of the Space Launch System core stage to Kennedy Space Center's Turn Basin. At 212 feet long and over 228,000 pounds, this massive piece matches the flight hardware in size and mass but contains no engines or propellant systems. This is the Core Stage Pathfinder, arriving to support NASA's Artemis missions. This was the first time the Pegasus barge, recently upgraded to support SLS deliveries, docked at Launch Complex 39's Turn Basin. Tugboats maneuvered the barge into place, recalling decades of shuttle-era logistics. The Pathfinder was carefully unloaded using cranes and rigging most recently used to handle shuttle external tanks. Teams from NASA's Exploration Ground Systems and contractor Jacobs sprang into action. Their job: guide this giant steel tube complete with 4,000-pound dummy engine bells safely off the barge and into position for transport to the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. In the early hours of October 1st, technicians used self-propelled modular transporters to roll the Pathfinder into the transfer aisle of VAB High Bay 3. This operation mimicked the real handling protocols that will be applied when the actual core stage arrives. With the Pathfinder inside the VAB, the next critical milestone was practicing the vertical lift. Engineers attached a spider lifting fixture to the top, hooked cranes, and slowly raised the mock-up from horizontal to vertical. This rehearsal ensured crane operators, rigging crews, and platform alignment specialists were fully prepared. Why go to these lengths with a mock-up? For NASA, this Pathfinder served three vital roles: training operators and ground personnel in safe, repeatable lift and transport procedures. Validating facility interfaces, such as crane rigging, access platforms, clearances, and structural load capabilities. And identifying any misalignments or procedural issues before handling the real flight hardware. By practicing early, NASA significantly reduced risk to the flight core stage when it eventually arrives. This operation supplemented earlier training at Stennis Space Center, where the Pathfinder was used to rehearse lifting into the B-2 test stand ahead of the Green Run engine test campaign. Multiple Pathfinder units, one each for the core stage, boosters, and RS-25 engines allowed parallel training without tying up the flight hardware. All of this paved the path to Artemis I, NASA's first unmanned test flight of SLS and Orion around the Moon. Before launch rollouts and final countdowns, NASA needed confidence that facility infrastructure, ground teams, and transport protocols could handle one-of-a-kind, mission-critical hardware. The Pathfinder proved that readiness. Seeing the SLS Core Stage Pathfinder upright inside the cavernous VAB High Bay 3, a mock-up standing as tall as a 20-story building, gives a visceral sense of scale to NASA's ambitions. This was not just hardware, it was preparation, rehearsal, and reassurance that when Artemis truly begins, the ground teams would be ready. The real journey to the Moon can only begin when we know how to handle the first step. Kindly like, speech balloon, comment, bell, subscribe for more.